Ever pondered why Socrates, one of the most prominent figures in ancient Greek philosophy, harbored a deep criticism for democracy? To understand this, we must first delve into who Socrates was. Known for his profound wisdom and relentless questioning, Socrates was a pivotal figure who shaped the course of Western philosophy. Yet he held a seemingly paradoxical view for his time, a critical stance towards democracy, the very system that allowed his ideas to flourish. He viewed democracy not as the epitome of freedom and equality, but as a system susceptible to manipulation and demagoguery. He believed that voting in elections should not be a right granted to all, but a skill to be honed, an art to be taught. For Socrates, democracy without education and critical thinking was like a ship without a captain. In this video, we will delve deeper into the reasons behind Socrates' disapproval of democracy, exploring his vision of an intellectual democracy, his warning against the rise of the demagogue, and the repercussions of his ideas on the democratic systems of today. Stay tuned as we unravel the intriguing paradox of Socrates' views on democracy. The story begins with a trial in 399 BCE, a trial that would forever change Socrates' perspective on Athenian democracy. Socrates, a prominent philosopher, found himself at the mercy of a jury of Athenians. His crime? Not recognizing the gods of the state and corrupting the youth with his teachings. The jury, composed of citizens who were not necessarily educated in matters of philosophy or jurisprudence, handed down a verdict that has echoed through the ages. Guilty. The sentence was death, a penalty that Socrates accepted rather than renounce his philosophical inquiries. This verdict showcased the dangers of a democratic system where uneducated voters had the power to decide the fate of a man. The injustice of the trial, where a man was sentenced to death for his philosophical beliefs, shook Socrates to his core. It was a stark example of the potential pitfalls of a democratic system without a foundation of education and critical thinking. He began to question the wisdom of a system that allowed the uneducated majority to wield such power, a democracy that sentenced a man to death for his philosophy. This was the catalyst for Socrates' disenchantment with democratic rule. Socrates was not against the concept of democracy. His gripe was with how it was practiced. He envisioned a different kind of democracy, an intellectual democracy, where the right to vote was not a given, but a privilege earned through deep contemplation and understanding of the issues at stake. To illustrate his point, he used an analogy. Picture this: a doctor and a sweet shop owner are both running for a position of authority. The sweet shop owner, with his charming charisma and tantalizing offerings, may be popular among the public. But does popularity equate to capability? The doctor, despite being less appealing, possesses the knowledge and wisdom necessary to make informed decisions that affect the well-being of the community. In Socrates' intellectual democracy, it's not about who can win the crowd with sweet words, but who can lead with wisdom and knowledge. It's about making thoughtful, informed decisions, not just going with the flow of popular opinion. It's about understanding that the right to vote is a powerful tool that can shape societies, and it should be wielded with care and understanding. Socrates' vision of an intellectual democracy was one where wisdom, not popularity, reigned supreme. Socrates cautioned against the rise of demagoguery, a danger inherent in the democratic system. This was a man who had seen firsthand how a charismatic voice, devoid of intellectual substance, could sway the masses. He warned of leaders who, like sweet shop owners, might be popular and pleasing to the eye, but lack the skills necessary to guide a society effectively. Socrates' concern was not just a historical footnote, but a timeless caution that still rings loud in our ears today. We live in an era where charisma often trumps competence, where sound bites can overshadow sound policy. The allure of the charismatic yet unqualified leader is a recurring theme in our political landscape. Yet Socrates did not despair. He believed in the power of education and critical thinking as the antidote to demagoguery. He argued for a society where voting is not just a right but a skill, a responsibility that requires understanding and discernment. Socrates' insights serve as a stark reminder of the dangers democracy can pose if not tempered with education and critical thinking. In the end, it's not about rejecting democracy, but about refining it. And that is a lesson we can all take to heart. Socrates' critique of democracy remains as pertinent today as it was in ancient Greece. His conviction that voting should be a skill, not a random intuition, is a call to arms in the face of growing political apathy and ignorance. His trial in 399 BCE, a stark example of the dangers of an uninformed electorate, resonates with the populist movements of today. Socrates' vision of an intellectual democracy, where only those who have thought deeply about issues have the right to vote, challenges us to question our own systems and the value we place on education and critical thinking in decision-making. His warning against the allure of charismatic but unqualified leaders is a cautionary tale echoing through the ages as we grapple with the rise of demagoguery in our own times. In the end, Socrates' views serve as a timeless reminder that democracy, while a powerful system, must always be approached with wisdom and discernment.